omo bebre na ode atuja. Yes, you better matches in Nemo. And then Chelsea in West Ham bebo. There's Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig. And you should beat me about because there's also Paris Saint-Germain and I said you should game the beat me about so. But me sure running stories ni we do be rare games in him. I think the running stories will have to deal with the transfer situation at Air Kosovo Europe CC. First of all, we a story about Ancelotti and Jamie Carragher. Ancelotti they are much more focused on a game against Newcastle Nyamea Duma Monday. But Michel Ancelotti demeanor, he's quite worried about the squad depth of Liverpool. He's quite worried about the squad depth of Liverpool. At the same time, no Jamie Carragher semna all can say Alexander Issak any player fancy yede 130 million pounds ekofadeba. Yenim common fan say it is true. Say 130 million pounds there, Kylian Mbappe mobile. I agree with him. But he's also failing to understand the current market trend and the value of players currently our system in him.
Okay.
Because you look at players Biboa or Modeko different clubs are, it determines how much Newcastle are interested in selling one of the best attackers in the Premier League. Fancy say, oh, to Alexander Issak, you are buying a player. Players can craving a Bruno so Premier League in him when it comes to scoring goals and creating chances and even assisting. And your players be in a Bruno so. Akoda, I had to say the Anquera Paris Saint-Germain to Makokobe the so the Alco baby. So the circumstances surrounding Alexander Isak's value. My problem I'm meaning Newcastle when I saw Madrid on Monton, which personally I've always said say Newcastle no. Omunyu entum say in the sellers market no baby omujina no. Omu food chain omu actually. And akoda no oye ne den you will leave. So the position of Newcastle mani nyehu ka mani nyehu kakra mani nyehu. Because where akoda ka turn in term Jusika, ubetimi diskana and your bebre or club.
Because also mobile.
Also mobile. O turn and diskana the other or club. But for Jamie Carragher to go to the extent and say so on your 130 million pounds player, I think he's talking out of anger. Before I said the Newcastle and I'm Jamie Carragher the club alliance. And yeah, I know Casan but this guy is worth every penny Newcastle will have to charge. Looking at the current market and the value of certain players. Her players be able to talk 60 million and 70 million. Her prices be able to 2 players be so then you come and tell us say Alexander Issak is worth that. No, in the current market he's worth that particular amount of money. But the discussion now fancy me to me pass Liverpool more concentration call 2 other positions so in the team. No mo ye ho adwuma no mo nya abotre makoda we ba next season akabetimi abo mo pa. Shadrack betimi aboya onfa Liverpool omo team no fan to screen so near analyze ade kakra near her position by position the entire wunya say Liverpool can use at least 100 million pounds of that particular money to try and do business, get in a center back or try and get in other players that could help the attack. Fancy one screen is Liverpool right backs and naturally omo say 2 Jeremy Frimpong and Conor Bradley. And now I know what I say. Jeremy Frimpong be Messi games till international break. Meaning say I can come with Conor Bradley pe anameboa. At the back line there is Ibrahim Kunate, there is Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk, Anna Leone. Balanced. Goalkeeper ne crowd muni how because who are listening back and mama that's really a teenager top class. Left back Milos Kekes, any Andrew Robertson. Then in the middle of the pack Ryan Gravenberch, any Wataru Endo. Alexis McAllister, Zoboslai, and Curtis Jones. But share the left hand side of the pitch. Kwadigapo and Ngumuha.
Another fantastic lad.
Makacho said Ngumuha no, you good potentially the talent no was wrong. But now me sanso catch us or ya could any say Liverpool for man pressure crowd this stage. He needs to be eased into the team. Fancy, he needs to be eased into the team bit by bit. The intensity and the expectation for a Liverpool winger as a stance, no, I could have potential, no, but ultimately meet that particular expectations. Sabi, in time the patente and I've got any patent in Debbie. yenye say adwuma no iti Liverpool will need an addition ewo Kodigapo baby odano which is the left wing then the right wing Musala pe ene wo ho meti assess for the past 4 to 5 seasons adeba akwa me pe Musala Senpai availability and in a level of consistency we showed him at Liverpool. Hardly do you see Mo Salah missing games for Liverpool.
Say Gisebia AFCON B. Yes, you say no AFCON the way and your kono. Between December to January AFCON be. Meaning say Liverpool will also have to go into the market and get a player. I say one player crown on Mubenya, not player ni betimi about left wing as about right winger. Better. Because that period, you know, and Liverpool been here Salah the most.
Salah the most.
Because December,
January. Then there is still Javier Lartey. The time they are starting to say Javier Lartey looks likely so be called RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
Because RB Leipzig for ne hwese on beton Javi Simons they are cash school. Then scanning na no gada and getting no they about for Javier Elliott. No ma be fan de ne call. Federico Chiesa good game o free bench buy no be shey good. On your quality moment in the Liverpool, but fancy in the long run, is he the player Liverpool can rely on? Then there is Florian Wirtz. So a Barcelona Liverpool will have to do makeshift. If they decide not to sign any player, then that means Omoma have Elliott because the only person Mimi who is so betting about the right wing in the absence of Mohamed Salah, have Elliott.
Yeah.
Have Elliott. That means have Elliott no was on money train. In Gomo Hane Kodigapo Bechabo, and I say be a woman or Makiesa. So but I think this is a team that needs reinforcement at their front line. Looking at the quality of signings, other teams are here to compete for the league title. It's Karaga assembly there. Obekasa 130 million there. So my value of the market is different. But my dream money there. Me 2 years say Newcastle for a year. Basa being person mobile say. Alexander Issak and Bobo Bia between now to next season value never form. No matter what you do, the value will come down because or more consistently. If Liverpool will get him at a price they will be much okay. Even in January they can even go again because just a Liverpool Lakiska, Liverpool aton Jaro Kwanza, Liverpool aton Bendoak. She plays a Liverpool aton Tom in terms of from academy graduate. Even Alexander Trent, I know that I saw no for free to come in about 10 million free. So all of these things are considered as pure profit for Liverpool. So about the PSR now, can't Liverpool say Liverpool in Tonye. They sold well. I think this current trend market, open English Premier League teams on my tongue come up Chelsea in Liverpool. On my tongue players come up and they've been able to recoup a huge amount of money. It will market in they could get 1 or 2 signings, we bring them in and try and complement the kind of team they have. I'm knocking on Real Madrid doors. Rodrigo Mien Musa the Kano. So unsuro challenge now unsuro we are here. Community agent Takasa America I'm on a phone call speaking to Liverpool day in day out. My client know who. A loan with an obligation to buy, loan with a buy option. My client know a good relationship between Liverpool and Real Madrid because he offers a quality addition to this team as a squad player. Also, bet me aboa. So, ebi a ngumo ha ho chere na so bi ho chere na obet me aboa. The entire makers asem woni na say Shadrack Mwame with Arsenal first 11, non sama me Arsenal second 11
because I feel the Arteta
and the amount of money Mikel Arteta has spent
yeah.
with this Arsenal team. You see, squad depth is very important when you want to compete and compete well. I always say this, squad depth is all about the quality you have on your bench, not necessarily about quantity. So, fancy the first probable starting 11 here: David Raya, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, Julian Timber, Lewis Kelly, Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Victor Gyökeres, Ebere Cheze. Quality set. Affront her quality set. On paper. When come on paper. Because omunya mom ye between Eze, Bukayo Saka. But yet the new mom on paper need come. I don't think an attack of Eze, Victor Gyökeres and Bukayo Saka should fail. No. Mama, the second set of Arsenal. Then you understand the kind of squad depth teams are building in the Premier League. Fancy we had the second set of Arsenal. Kepa Arrizabalaga, Mosquera, Jacob Kivior. Kivior ni underrated so well, but last season Arsenal won't train the centre back no.
boy akoda we body ma Arsenal last season no. There's still Ricardo Calafiori.
Say a fan one night mu nyina bo.
A fan in one night mu bench ono kwa beba mfimfi ono na baba bo Martin Odegaard run because you see o me atiase so fan mo Bukayo Saka echi. Then there is Christian Ogard. There is Merino. There is Gabriel Martinelli. There is Trossard and there is Noni Madueke. If you the squad depth of Arsenal. But the squad depth now. And I remember question we say Asare Boadu Akomeah Facebook post me to say what is stopping Arsenal from winning the league?
Wow, feed it and care.
Maybe I'm catching say Mikel Arteta and bit must stop team away from winning the league.
The Emma Arsenal Angel League this season.
Mikel Arteta and bit must stop this team from this league because fancy a squad depth they have it. It's not only about quantity, it's about quality. What did they mention Arsenal? Let's pick individually these players and put them in different teams and ask yourself, are they going to start or not? What I must say, some of these players will be competing in some of the top teams. Only Liverpool be Arsenal be pre-league. Fancy, and Chelsea here centre back pa meboa. Mosquera and Jacob Kivio, mobile Chelsea about constate. Even for Ricardo Calafiori. For Ricardo Calafiori, he will start.
After securing Eze, Arteta has no excuse or whatsoever not to win this league. In fact, it's a must win and defend it next season. His second squad can even still finish top 6.
I agree. Second squad need to finish top 6.
Nana Usu Achia.
I agree. Second squad need to finish top 6.
Premier League way. Arsenal second team.
Second team will be to finish top 6. A well coached team. Way second team will be to finish top 6. Or make finish top 6, fancy. Or more the missiles to actually come. And I fancy, or more the top 6 in one more. Newcastle Aston Villa. Or money Aston Villa. For now, no money Aston Villa. Nottingham Forest Bemeka fancy 2 patches squad with Momusha Nottingham Forest or multi-million more. Newcastle and the Asterix beton because Newcastle they be a Jolinton, Tonelli, Bruno Guimaraes there. These 3 guys I always put them in a different bracket because the intensity of the Anthony Gordon solid player. But for Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, fancy this team can play with them. Resource. They can compete. So also this scanner or the 2 screen this one to Sumaya. Then you understand say no. Mikel Arteta the amount of money I was spending so bet me there 2 screen so my shade per scar teams coaches need to spend
Guardiola.
I want us to be fair in everything we are doing now because me see there are 2 sessions of Arsenal supporters. One omo mujina fa say Mikel Arteta and me can say scanner was spending we don't me find way. There is another set that they also believe said there be team normal build there but they still need some time to gel and make sure some meet me they get results. But expectations are totally different around Mikel Arteta. Fancy say o checking list you know mo da honum na Pep Guardiola G League title say.
He's 7 and
6 out of 7. O dey no to say what 2 atoaso. Ano abeji 4 atoaso. 6 out of 7. And last season count be 6 out of 8 because last season so 1 year. It were 4 now or 2 so they were 2 now Sergeant back to back. And I heard the amount of money Pep Guardiola spending. Now I think Mikel Arteta support no more the man from every single angle they've supported him. Omako facet pitcoach na dia bro. Omako fa bibia we here bia Mikel Arteta ye the amount. Scanner was spending no enye ho trophy na FA Cup nko.
After this spending, more trying to say be new signings about this season probably next.
Okay,
this is in
the password busa me say question. There are stages of building a football club anytime. Now stages they build a club no. Now no Mitchell say there's something we call the crumbling empire. What did they mention us no? Mitchell BB say there's something that is called the near misses. The crumbling empire nature say bibia wahihye wo team ni nyina mu nyina mu dwedegu na mo de agu fom na afi ma sha say mo set to foundation na ma hihye. There are stages I'll be do if any the near misses near say o start ya betima akobo final bi no alusu. You can get closer to winning something no asa drop it. There's a meltdown stage when you are rebuilding a club. Meltdown stage in Nijina say supporters in a boo of a drum pempeso work will lose matches behind the Newcastle will lose. Because Sky the amount spending no unfa home resource in your day. MI. From the meltdown stage, there's something we call the Odyssey stage. While I shared the movie called Odyssey, you would understand say or Kokunye, Trowo, or Banana, Poseidon, you show Nibu Funi Nibi, and watch a for so many months. Now to me, that means Jenny now Okono, Unity don't the night. It's a long journey they are going, but they don't have a destination they are supposed to reach. You look at Arsenal and you understand, say the Odyssey stage, you know, must say Druana. Then fancy you get to the right manager effect. The right manager effect is the stage where you believe say assume sina me appointing say onbeye adwuma no go through this particular stages na edum pempen so say metimi ni nipa na ede agi trophies. Me no wudi nkome fancy Arsenal o matra the crumbling empire stage because bubu amoma hyehyɛ tama Arsene Wenger free team nim koye no ni nyina bubu yi so they needed to build a new empire. They've gone to the near missing stages. Fancy Arsenal to me Ben League na be back be boom no man second meltdown stage yahu bia so wa woni Arsenal supporters dey obo team no Arteta out. We've gotten to that stage because Edrume bi na Arteta to me bo be 7 games no win back kra so be kan the first 2 seasons no Arsenal supporters kukutua so sasa they've gone through the Odyssey stage because it's almost phase 6.
Maybe a junior is on the left.
The right manager effect.
So
if Arteta is the right manager, it brings back to start winning.
Can maybe I'll say, oh, Chelsea on the right coach. Our the squad will be.
He's the right manager, and the only time a bit more confirm say he's the right manager for Arsenal now is to win trophies.
Okay.
If I say he's not the right manager for Arsenal, I've not been fair. I've not been fair to Mikel Arteta at all. But this is the moment where we are supposed to feel say no. Bona ya bo honka. Abotre na ya nyama ono. Sika ya investing with team and that's why I paid their mobile. One thing I'm happy about it, there is a renewed hope. Ewo Emirates. Fancy. Since the best season be Arsenal supporters did to me say they will compete and compete well. Yeah. So if they will compete and compete well, the thin line is separating who competing well. Any being called an elite manager is the trophy near them them. So Mikel Arteta, then there's a thin line between him and the elite manager bracket. I be pitching na kwakoto because otra or then what to pempen so be say wetimi abefa club bi na ebubu na atete na pansa memre bi and wa hye team ne dia bedum pempen so bi there are few coaches that can do that job.
Run to me.
Sir Alex Ferguson with Manchester United from 1986 or the ba no. Obe build the club no. E dey on be dominant. There is Jürgen Klopp at Borussia Dortmund. Now obi ntimi compete Bayern Munich team after 1997. Omukobo Champions League anye yi no obe build the Dortmund no sa ba England abe build
Liverpool.
So there are few coaches that you can make excuse for them when it comes to say omo ye builders, sasu ye achievers. If Mikel Arteta can win a trophy, the league, the FA Cup, the Champions League with Arsenal, even the Champions League, you know, expectation better at a different level. Mm-hmm. Because you can't play the semi-final of the Champions League in the previous season and come and tell us we do quarter-final. I'm talking about expectation, keyword, expectation. Expectation will be a different level because last season, Fancy, oh boy, no do semi-final. Oh, bien, we said this season at Tabede. Luis Enrique did the same thing they see. Oba PSG first season, or the the semi-final. This season expectation was that be team now had 20 players at Sani Amount, also team movie team need to go different level. I know them come final, beboa. It's not all teams that can play in the final again, but at least when expectations begin to raise, responsibility be sure also to maintain a certain standard, and Mikel Arteta needs to prove that.
I'm a Liverpool fan, but if Arsenal don't win this season's Premier League, then Mikel Arteta must be sacked. That is why Liverpool needs Rodrigo, because Ngumoha can be trusted. It's his first season with a senior team. Steven Ampofo.
I'm happy with what the Liverpool fan is saying, but this is what we are talking about. So Mikel Arteta, the responsibility is on your shoulders. Now deliver. Will be a show. Shade fancy. Nicholas Jackson one intriguing story when it comes to the career as a footballer where he passed through any baby a waba bedru enkomo amati amani age pa say Aston Villa Nicolas Jackson. There was Bayern Munich, Napoli. Even Manchester United were sniffing around at some point in time. But I'm happy for Akoda way because but me tia sama draw Mikel Obi
who same person
Motromo Joe too much.
Who ni pan so afide also
Motromo Joe jai. He has done a certain thing I fancy. He's trying to play good in the books of Africans. Sure? There is a beautiful story between Chelsea and African players. The reason why a lot of Africans love Chelsea is because they say African players no mo team no do na bobo ni ye. And they the loba 11 years in the 2 on man nipa be ne tabo ni de droba na meboa. And then number Chelsea number 5 years in the body be bra wan ye body de nya Michael Essien. So you look at the kind of contribution these players, even in the worst moment of Victor Moses and Antonio Conte coaching. Victor Moses born home modern Boama Chelsea to G League. Mikel Obinamu Ukrano and the Chelsea Champions League. You were part of the team that won the UEFA Champions League. What league I hold war? And I know what podcast na so. Iti asasia ye dua baby was so a fifi, especially when it comes to African players. This time around, no one kasa wunuaba. Na ba buana ma na dua de ma na fifi no amoa no. Afia amre na drusi ehunu se wei. O ye wait a wa be remo wo se yi ni film de ne kone de. O kasa ye man ntina. There be the story is over. And Mikel Obi threw the backlash because he has played a role in how a lot of people perceived Nicolas Jackson. Opa yes or no, Mikel Obi played a part in the way amount for Nicolas Jackson.
Una say on what make us say Oshia Chelsea sporting directors no Sir Lawrence Stewart money Asiam pen for no modinkomo. So I know what club neda. We're a legend and I say fine, we're a legend. So ba same club on pen for no maba bedinkomo. And no mabe quite simple amano. Simple. Because the whole of last season was like on you know one goes. So you here Victor Osimhen. So yeah, none of the any Osimhen per Chelsea. I know Osimhen the Nanyamasu because he was asking for too much.
So in the quest of lobbying for his countryman, no, we Tieti Anaso, I mistake appear an African player out of the club. She said Chelsea starting lineup, no. You see African players say the womb. African players will say. You see starting 11, no Sanchez, Meboa, Chaloba, and Jose Champon. I'm talking about more African countries. I'm not talking about more decent.
No.
I'm talking African about players are no more because Jose Champion no more.
Says Ankatosi
in Nigeria for, but you are talking about proper African players who are in there. Jose Champion, Chaloba, Marco Correa, Reece James, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Bino Gittins, Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro. Ye changes na mo biaba. Normally at the right back Malo Gusto, and at the left back ne be Hwan Hato. Meboa. Center back and a bear tossing Adara Biayo. Wesley Fofana. Africa Bianim. In the middle of the pack, Lavia Efita Lavia Beba. Meboa. Lavia mobile double pivot for Fra. Chelsea will need to also get only Andre Santos. So that double pivot in South Africa player Bianim. It comes to the Enimu Honomosuas and the Pedro Neto new one Estivao. There's no African in there. When you go to the number 10, say nay Kopama Cramponu and they decide the same Estivao without also be Babesha what the amount. Then on the other part, and a Chelsea crowd player or Penocrad they are two by no getting the chi and wine. And a Tarek George in the council no, and a Tarek George so yeah day. Then up front to the say Joao Pedro new one my wine.
The lap.
My fancy young moon componko echi. Near the history of Chelsea. Any more margin league bia. Na catch me say the 22 players at Chelsea the boy na African player ba could be more influential. Chelsea G League Marco 6. What the fan say for 50 years gap. Not Chelsea G League that. The resurgence of Chelsea becoming an elite club from 2003-2004 2004, 2005, 2005, 2006. Let's go it year by year, and the kind of players that were in the team at Chelsea DG League. Chelsea for more, you can send in your messages. So Chelsea's history with African players and winning the league and winning the major trophies. Even Club World Cup here, Kobo Ukraine, France, we had the Canal Nicolas Assassin count. And I bet you magazine one count. What did they mention? So you can bring it in and let's have a discussion this morning. And let's have a discussion this morning about African players and their history with Chelsea. And being key players in these particular setups that can help Chelsea win titles.